The same people that were torturing Kanye, the same people that were torturing Charlie Kirk, Kanye died today would be the first to eulogize him. I feel that. I do. I feel that. And I think it's important to share that information, as Kanye sent me all of the messages of people who were threatening him. I have them all.
That's it. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, that you're a glorified slave. You're a glorified slave, man. Like, why would you want to be a glorified slave? Culture will always be upstream from politics. Whoever can control culture can control politics.
You understand that if I had taken the medication, I would not be here, and it would have been, he was deeply troubled. We miss him. We love his music, though.
Well, they would have Britney Spears you. I mean, look at
they would have Michael Jackson.
Candace Owens just confirmed what Kanye had been warning us about for years, that someone was trying to take him out. Now, what's wild is how it lines up with those clone rumors. You've probably seen those clips floating around. The one saying the Kanye we've been seeing lately doesn't even move or talk like him. For months, people brushed it off as trolling or deepfake talk. But after what Candace just said, it doesn't sound that crazy anymore. So Candace claims that Kanye gave her everything. The messages, the names, the threats, basically a digital time bomb that she's supposed to release if something happens to him. And remember, this is coming right after Charlie Kirk's unexpected cameo in that new Kanye documentary. The same Charlie Kirk that some people now say might have been handled by the same gatekeepers that tried to silence Ye. And when you looked at the timing, the players, and the connection to Charlie Kirk, it really looks like something's being set up again.
Kanye said that in order to be free, you had to violate these contracts. You had to recognize that your voice is being controlled. And Kanye did just that. It was really an act of bravery to free himself.
During a live stream on her YouTube channel, Candace Owens revealed that she's holding the proof that Kanye was right. She says Kanye handed her everything: DMs, voice notes, emails, the whole trail of people who threatened him. And if anything happens to Ye, Candace is dropping it all.
Yesterday, and which got picked up, was to create a kill switch, right? To realize that Kanye was kind of right. Never too late to say that Kanye was right. Kanye said that in order to be free, you had to violate these contracts. You had to recognize that your voice is being controlled. And Kanye did just that. It was really an act of bravery to free himself. But I have no doubt that the same people that were torturing Kanye, the same people that were torturing Charlie Kirk, Kanye died today would be the first to eulogize him. I feel that. I do. I feel that. And I think it's important to share that information, as Kanye sent me all of the messages of people who were threatening him. I have them all. To information share with Max Blumenthal, with people, people all over the place, to send a package and say, if anything happens to me and it looks suspicious, release it all.
But that's not all, y'all. Candace revealed that she also officially created her own kill switch with text messages, emails, private communications, and videos. And if anything happens to her, that switch will be activated instantly.
But I went ahead this week and sent around a life insurance policy of sorts, a package rather, to people that I trust, a package filled with text messages, emails, private communications, videos, and private legal documents. So that if anything happens to me, you guys will know exactly who it is that has been making my life a living hell over the past couple of years. People that are trying to bankrupt me, trying to bankrupt me and my family, that are threatening us to sue us. Everything that Kanye said was so real. Okay, I'm now at that point where you look back and you go, man, Kanye was right. He was really saying something about what it takes to leave, to fight for custody of your own soul. Just leave me alone. Let me say what I believe and you say what you believe. Fight fair. Why do you always have to make this threat to bankrupt people? And I want you to know that those people, if anything happens to me, they have my explicit permission to release it all, detonate it all, expose all of these people in politics and in the movement who behave like this behind the scenes. It's necessary. And I highly recommend every single person that is out there, that has a platform and is going through things and is scared, do the same. send everything around.
And then in another video she shared on social media, Candace got even more explicit and told her followers that if something happens to her, they'll know exactly who's responsible.
Do you think it's normal, by the way, that basically every person who speaks about Israel has to basically say a statement that's like, I don't want to get killed? like literally, you start speaking about it, people are like, Candace, beef up your security. That's not fucking normal. Excuse my language, but that is not normal, okay? It's not normal that people have to think about their security because, and by the way, it's not normal that then the way that you get comfortable with it is you're like, well, they shot JFK in an open car, so there's not, he's the sitting president. Obviously my security doesn't really matter. If they want me, they're gonna get me. That's not a normal thought process to have. We don't have that about any other country in the world except for the one that, took over ours. And that's the truth, okay? We are an occupied nation. And if it's going to take women having to speak up and say that to make permission, to give permission to men to do the same, then I'm happy to be the first person, okay? I just want to be clear. Anything happens to me, blame the Zionists. 1000% blame the Zionists. Let that be my parting word.
Now, some people were quick to accuse Candace of being dramatic, but the receipts are out there. She's already been threatened publicly multiple times. So imagine what they're sending her in private. Following Charlie Kirk's assassination, Candace posted, quote, "All lies will be revealed," end quote. And one of those people she called out to write, "Your day will come." Now think about what that means. Kanye had been warning for years that there were people in music, media, and even in politics who wanted him gone. And Candace holding these messages proves he wasn't paranoid. Did we forget about that whole episode with Kanye's former personal trainer, Harley Pasternak? This man was bold enough to directly threaten Kanye that he would institutionalize him again and send him back to zombie land forever. And yet the mainstream media quickly buried this story like it was no big deal. Now here's where it gets really intense. Some of the same networks that allegedly tried to take out Kanye show up in the theories surrounding Charlie Kirk's assassination. Charlie, Candace, and Kanye used to hang out together. And Charlie appears in Kanye's new documentary, In Whose Name, that was released on September 19th, just days after Charlie was shot and killed while speaking at Utah Valley University.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, if you're a glorified slave, you're a glorified slave, man. Why would you want to be a glorified slave? Culture will always be upstream from politics. Whoever can control culture can control politics. You getting political, you talking about 2024, you being open to different ideas, different conversations, you wearing a MAGA hat. It broke the internet.
And then on top of all that, Candace also shared some old texts from Charlie where he quoted Kanye's song Power. And according to Candace, Charlie identified with Ye a lot because he too had been fighting for custody of his own life.
This is what I believe. And they say, you're not allowed to believe that. You feel like you are fighting for custody of yourself. And I want to be very clear that I believe, in fact, I know that towards the end, Charlie was fighting for custody of himself. I want to say that. I want to say that plainly. And there are lies that are being told and they need to be slapped down right now.
Now, some people are already connecting the dots and speculating that the same networks that allegedly tried to neutralize Kanye might have been involved in the plot to silence Charlie Kirk. And if you follow Candace's story, it makes sense. The same forces that move in entertainment can cross over into politics and put pressure on anyone who tries to break through the matrix. In fact, Candace just leaked even more receipts showing that Charlie was being threatened and blackmailed by his rich donors. In one message, Charlie wrote, "Just lost another huge Jewish donor, $2 million a year because we won't cancel Tucker. I'm thinking of inviting Candace." And then Charlie added, "I cannot and will not be bullied like this, leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause." So when you line it all up, you've got to ask yourself, who finances the cultural rot Candace was talking about in that clip from Kanye's documentary? It seems Charlie Kirk started asking the right questions. The same questions Kanye was asking before they deplatformed him, blacklisted him, and allegedly tried to put him in a mental institution and replace him with an imposter. And if these are the same people orchestrating behind the scenes pressure, it's not hard to see why Kanye felt that they were trying to take him out.
Allegations from Kanye West, he's now saying that it was his Jewish doctor that misdiagnosed him and wanted him to take a pill. Here it is.
Drove me to a point of exhaustion, which was misdiagnosed by I'm not going to say what race, what people, doctor. and what hospital and what media it went to. We know I can't say that. It was a Jewish doctor that diagnosed me of having a disorder that would have had me on medication right now. At a time like this, if I was on medication right now, then one pill could have been swapped out and it would be Michael Jackson and Prince all over again. But because I didn't take the misdiagnosis and I didn't take the medication, I'm able to speak to you guys clear of thought and transparently.
Now, about that clone theory, most people roll their eyes when they hear this, and I get it. It sounds unhinged. But think of it more like programming someone's mind with medication. The idea isn't that someone literally printed a second Kanye. It's that the version of him we've seen since his breakdown looks like a man who's been medicated, isolated, and reprogrammed until the real personality's gone. Every time he started exposing how the industry and politics really work and the people who pull the strings behind the scenes, he ended up in a hospital, doped up, then came back quieter, flatter, less like himself. And this last time he disappeared, he came back with a brand new wife who looks more like his handler than his partner. Whether you call it MK Ultra or industry rehab, the point is the same. What's walking around might not be a clone, but it sure doesn't move like the Kanye people remember. Remember back in late 2022 when Kanye started exposing how the industry keeps celebrities on a leash? He was on the streets almost daily talking to paparazzi, and you could tell his mind was clear. Now, whether you agreed with him or not wasn't the issue. He spoke with focus, he explained himself, and he even treated the cameras with respect. But after all the blacklisting and those 2 weeks he disappeared, something snapped. Kanye came back different, ranting, unpredictable, lashing out at the same paparazzi he used to handle calmly. Check this clip from his first sighting with Bianca in January 2023. He's paranoid, defensive, and refusing to answer anything. It's a total 180 from the Kanye we saw in December 2022.
Just stop. Just stop.
All right. I just want to congratulate on your honeymoon.
Bro, just stop. You got paparazzi. You understand? It's like the first stop. Just stop.
Now here's where things get real. Kanye claimed the people around him tried to Michael Jackson him with heavy lithium doses, but fortunately, he refused to take those meds.
They tried to medicate me. I was exhausted. They wrongly diagnosed me, and they when I asked them how much lithium did you want to put me on exactly, it took them 4 days to answer because they were embarrassed about the amount, right? And I refused to take this, right? You understand that if I had taken the medication, I would not be here, and it would have been, he was deeply troubled. We miss him. We love his music, though.
Well, they would have Britney Spears you. I mean, look at
they would have Michael Jackson.
Now, remember what Harley Pasternak said about sending Kanye to Zombieland forever? Well, turns out Harley had an interesting past before he rebranded as a Hollywood trainer. Turns out he worked for the Canadian government, and not just in fitness. He was stationed at a military research facility studying psychological operations designed to shape and control human behavior. And if that wasn't sketchy enough, there's an old interview where Harley straight up says his military job let him study mind-altering substances, including substances that most people don't even know exist.
As physiology and nutrition, got recruited by the military to help run essentially the superhuman lab, this laboratory called the Defense and Civil Institute of Environmental Medicine. And the area that I was interested in was how drugs and food affect muscular performance. And
when you say drugs, was that like performance-enhancing drugs, or are they
all kinds of drugs?
Oh, right. Okay.
So working for the military, I wasn't governed by the same laws that the typical person was. So I could look at the impact of certain drugs that are not everyday things.
So when you line it all up, Candace saying Kanye gave her everything just in case something happens, the weird gap when he went missing, the sudden personality switch, lithium, Harley's government ties, and then the Charlie Kirk connection, it stops feeling random. It feels coordinated. So maybe the clone theory is about something deeper. And if Candace really goes public, we might finally see who's been pulling those strings. But until then, all we've got are the breadcrumbs, and they're leading somewhere dark. Well, now I want to hear your thoughts on all this. Was Kanye silenced with medication? Is all this part of something even bigger? And do you think the Charlie Kirk Kanye connection is part of the same pattern? Leave all your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll catch you in the next video.